Okay, so how's everybody doing? So I want to show you how I do the bloody nose livery on here. Now I have a decal set from Microscale, but it's a lower profile. It's not for this particular locomotive, so they altered this stencil on these locomotives, like depending on the type, that they were applied to. So what I decided to do is I took measurements off the photo and then I made a small, let me just zoom in a little bit closer here. Yeah, so I made a small stencil and I just used the circle template here that you can get from Staedtler, and for doing the like I just draw the corner and then just draw the circle. I roughly guessed it according to the photograph. And then what I did here is I basically cut it out and then I just lay it on like this. And I got it into the corner there, and then I don't want to scratch this paint here if I can help it, but it probably won't matter with a locomotive like this that's weathered. You're going to have scratches anyway. But it's nice if the scratches are... Well, actually, it doesn't matter if they're deliberate or by accident. You can always make them work for you. So now that that's on there nice, like that'll give me that, like when I spray this red. So I'll put some tape here to mask off the top. And then I'll have to basically mask off, make sure that that's down tight. I'll have to mask off the bottom walkway here and then just around here so that when I spray this, I won't get any red overspray. Now here's something I'll mention about this, okay? Like about ghosting, like images and so on. Add a little more light there for you. So you can use a decal, like I'm going to clear coat this first probably, and then apply some chipping fluid, maybe just on the front where most of the chipping is. And then I'm going to spray that red, just so I can chip away some of the red so the rust kind of looks underneath of the primer. And then I'm going to run two super thin, like probably 1 millimeter, like, for the winged look, Like to me it makes all the... I'll probably use this here. This is 1 millimeter tape. Like this, I'll just show you this in closing. Like, see, there's the gray there, and there's a line just behind the shadow of the railing. So I'll just cut those, and I'll just, like, it's easier to mask those off now. Like that, and then just, you know what I mean? So when I spray the red and I peel off that tape, then it'll have that nice bloody nose effect. Now here's the thing. This is a different photo. This has more of the original SP gray blue paint, whereas the one I'm doing is like, it's like there is none left there in that area. So, okay. Okay, so you can see I've masked off the red where the bloody nose goes, and I'm going to use this color here. So this is my own color, and I don't give out color, codes or anything, because someone will say it's wrong. So, I've seen that before, and I don't want to do that. So you have to learn to mix the color yourself from photos, and it's going to be different for everybody, because this color will shift and change when I put another wash on when it's done. But you can see how I use the 1 mil, for the wings and the bloody nose on both sides. So when I spray that and peel it off, it'll be nice paint on there, and it'll cover up all the details like it should, Pretty tough to do with the decal. I think with the decal set, they just give you the side wings, and then you paint the front, but then you got to match the paint, and that can be pretty tough to do. So I chose to paint the whole livery that way, front and back. And I put on some of this chipping fluid as well, just with a brush over all of this so that I can stab and chip away, okay? As they say in the automotive world, it's all about prep when they do custom paint jobs. Ask any pro painter and they'll tell you that. It's all in the prep. And the mask, the sand, the finish, the prime, everything. The final paint itself is over before you know it. You want to make sure that you don't let this tape sit. Like, don't do this the night before and then expect it all to be tight the next day. You want to paint as soon as possible. When you put your mask down. Okay, so the chipping fluid on both ends is dry now. It's been dry for 5 minutes, which is long enough for me. And I have the paint loaded up. And so what I'm going to do is, I'm probably going to do more. I'm probably going to have it a little more stronger on the sides. Now notice, so see the color in the cup? See the color on the photo? So this is all subjective. The model in my left hand, the photo in behind in the cup, like you'd look at those colors and go, oh, this one's right, or this one's right. No. So when I put this over this rust, it's different. It's different than in the cup, and it's different than the photo. This is just a guide, if I can get close. And besides, as you're doing your last layers of paint, you're color correcting anyway. And that already looks like I like that. Oops, sorry. See, now look at the photo now, see? Looks a little bit darker, but that's okay. Because, why? I'm going to do a very light fade on this. I'm going to do a light fade on this anyway. I think I'll probably mask off the... the light bezels and the Mars too. The Mars on this one looks like it was new that they replaced it. Or they restored it. And notice how I left the ladders and the handrails on. They just look so much better when you put them on and paint them like in place. They just seem to... And then I'm going to leave the front a little bit more, sorry, I'm going to leave the front like that. And I'm just going to give... I'm shooting at about 50 psi here because I only have to think the trigger back. Like, you can't even notice when I pull the trigger back. Actually, if you watch my finger here, I got 50 psi, very thin paint, but watch, okay, down is like always just one, like that's it. Like, you can't control psi. When you pull the trigger back, it doesn't control the air. You floor the air. Always, it's the same. It's when you floor the air and then like you keep it down and inch it back in your mind, that's when the paint comes. And because of the high psi and the thin paint, it comes out like beautiful. Like, never orange peel ever do I get with this method. Really, like only one time on a, I don't know what it was. It was some other paint over some older paint. I just stripped it to fix it. But I can just etch in here like this. Here, watch. See there? Once you get it off the model, just bring it onto the model and hold that position and just work it. That's going to look so cool. Oh man, I love that. Okay, so time to demask. I demasked the rear. These are a couple of photos by, I believe, Matt Adams and Drew Mitchell. Now, when you Google for images, sometimes archives will come up, sometimes just the image will come up. It's Google domain, it's the way it is. So I like to pay respect to the photographer, even though there isn't always a credit on the photo. Sometimes, like if you go to Railroad Archives, I'll just mention this, then they'll usually have a photo credit on the bottom, or some put a watermark, but you know, it's always good to give credit where credit is due. Now here, look, so same locomotive, two different sides, bright sun, maybe the sun's higher up here. So when you look at this, when I see this blue-gray, it's closer to this. But on the video that I'm watching, which I'll list below, like this a really good YouTube video, 4K on this locomotive. I forget the name of the chap, but I think it's on the title or down in the description below. And it's beautiful. And I use the video for my color correction or, you know, interpretation. So you can see how that red turned out. It looks pretty good, doesn't it? You know, it's fresh, but by the time I fade it with super thin, like beige or off-white, that'll be exactly like that. And one more thing I want to point out to you too, in regards to putting on water-based washes at the end in just a second. But let's just pull this off. You want to be careful about this too. It's sort of an exciting time when you demask it. You don't pull off details, like some of the details that you most likely modeled in to be painted at this stage of the game. Like sunshades. I weld my sunshades right on from the start, so they're flexible, and they take quite a bit of abuse. This is always the fun part, isn't it? Because you get to see all your handy mask work to show off. There's one of the lines there on the wing part. And then this okay. Well, that looks pretty good. Can't see it on this upper photo, but here you can. Pretty happy about that. And then, of course, there's this. This is where everybody leaves the video, right? They can't be engaged like enough. You can't stimulate them enough, so they always taking too long. I'm out of here, you know. Okay, there. Well, that looks pretty good. Now, I haven't done any chipping on this. I want to do some chipping on the front. But let me just point out this one thing in closing on this part. So, this here rust, this is by Model Air 71.080 rust. It's just one of many colors. Just because it says rust doesn't mean, oh, that's the one I should use, you know, because I didn't use any of this on here except for down here on the sill earlier on a different phase. So I'm going to achieve this kind of, see how it's sort of rusty. So now, like, I'm going to seal this, okay? I'm going to seal it with XF86 flat clear because I don't want this to go anywhere, but I'm not going to seal it yet because I want to paint chip it first because it's already, I got to add water and then do that. Then I'll seal it. Then I'll put this on because this won't eat through any of the Tamiya. So you always got to bear that in mind. Forgive me for those that know, like, don't put isopropyl alcohol on this model at this stage. You'll wreck it. You'll eat right through the paint. But you'll never eat through the paint with water-based, like if you use water just to thin these paints. Like, they're just not the same chemistry as Tamiya is. The reason why I use Tamiya, as I'd mentioned, is because I can spray it beautifully. Like, it's the best airbrush paint there is, in my opinion, for like acrylic anyway. This is mostly all Tamiya with just some washes of, you know, Vallejo. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'll put these washes on later, but I'm going to do a little bit of chipping there. And then we're getting close to the clear coat for the font, like the decals. It's a bit of decal work. And then I don't have, I'll just say this, okay, then there's the number boards I have. I can do this with text, font, railroad, Gothic, and etc. letters from microscale. The numbers, no problem. This here, that's cool, ejection seat. That I can do. Steps, this I'll use yellow decals. I won't use those stick-on things. They're too fat for me. And then this, I have decals similar to this, but it doesn't say Willamette, but the font's small. You may not be able to notice it. It has, I think it has a logging something or whatever. So I might be able to pull that off on the front, but unfortunately, I'm not going to commission somebody to do that for me. It's cost prohibitive for me. Okay?